I spend time around a lot of married women, and I have the blessing of engaging with thousands of married women through the ministry of Awesome Marriage every single week. And there are some resounding echoes of things that I hear women are saying that they want from their husbands. So I wanted to take the time to share with you three things that I think could really help your marriage and that I think could transform your marriage if you implement them. The best part is these things are simple and easy to do, and they don't cost a dime. The first thing that I encourage husbands to do is to pay attention to her. Pay attention to your wife. I cannot tell you how many times I have witnessed or participated in the manipulative games that women play to see if their husbands are paying attention. I'll never forget when I was younger, one time my mom was so eager to see if my stepdad would pay attention to the fact that she cleaned up his coffee mess every single morning for years and never got thanked for it, that one week she decided she wasn't going to do it anymore, and she was going to track how many days it took for him to notice and to thank her for what she had been doing. The reason women do this is because we're dying to know. We're dying to know if you see us, if you care about us, if you love us. So do yourself a favor and pay attention to your wife. Notice her. I hear this from women all the time that they don't feel seen. So make sure that your wife feels seen. Ask her questions and then fully listen to her answers and make sure that all of your attention is going into fully paying attention to her. Give her eye contact and make sure you're looking at her. When she's upset or seems agitated, instead of being annoyed by her mood or her crankiness, ask her, what's up? Be a student of your spouse and study her. Fellas, I promise you, you won't regret the time and energy that you give to studying your wife and learning her in all of the ways. This can be as simple as making sure that you're thanking her for the big and the small things that she is doing in your life. And you can also do something so simple as setting a reminder in your phone or on your calendar. It can be as easy as saying, hey Siri, remind me every Wednesday to make sure my wife knows I see her. So pay attention to your wife. This is the most important earthly relationship that God has given you. So pay attention to it. Pay attention to your wife. The second thing that I encourage all husbands to do is to engage in non-sexual touching with your wife. Women want to feel safe with their husbands, so make sure that you're touching your wife even when you're not looking to have sex with her. This matters so much to a woman. A lot of women also need to ease into sex, which is why regular non-sexual touching is going to help sex go better for women. So make sure that you're making time to do this in your marriage. Cuddle with her, hug her, kiss her forehead, hold her hand, sit close to her. Make sure that you touch her even when you're not just ready to have sex or play sexy things with her. Make sure you're engaging in non-sexual touch with your wife. The third thing that I encourage all husbands to do is to step it up in the spiritual leadership department. I cannot tell you how often I hear women say that they wish their husbands would take their faith more seriously or that they would lead their family spiritually better. I think for most men, it's not that you don't want to take your faith seriously, it's that you don't know how or that you're not enjoying doing it, which is why I really encourage you to find a church that you love and enjoy and get plugged in there. Join a men's Bible study and make friends with guys that you actually want to be around and commit to learning and growing together and becoming more like Christ together. In college, I had a really good friend who she was just a fierce woman of God. She was a bright light for Jesus on our college campus. She shared the gospel on a regular basis. She led Bible studies, and she was just a fierce woman of God. And then she started dating this guy who said he was a Christian, but he didn't really seem equally yoked with her. He didn't really seem like he was spiritually matched with her. He said he believed in God, but it didn't really seem to change his life much. He didn't attend church, and it wasn't like he was taking his faith seriously. So naturally, some of us were a little concerned. We wanted her to be with someone who loved Jesus as much as she did. But then this young man started coming to our church. He got plugged into our community group, and he started being surrounded by other believers. And wouldn't you know it, that changed everything for him. He started to become a spiritual leader, and he took his faith spiritually. He went from being a guy that I wasn't even sure if my friend should be dating to a man that I was really thankful for and glad that she was dating, and a wonderful spiritual leader. The difference for him was Christian community. It's what made that jump for him. Christian community is not an option. God calls us to it. So I encourage you to do this. You know, it's been said before that we're the lump sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. Well, I encourage you to make those 5 people be men of God who you actually want to imitate. Find friends who love Jesus, who you actually want to be around and that you have stuff in common with and that you can be real life friends with. Also, when it comes to leading your family spiritually, I would just encourage you not to overthink it. This does not have to be a hard thing. It can be as simple as initiating prayer every once in a while for your family, as making sure your family's in church every Sunday, and picking out a Bible reading plan, just a YouVersion Bible reading plan to read with your wife and doing that. And as always, you can pray and ask God to help you to be a spiritual leader. So there you have it, 3 simple things that you can do to transform your marriage. Pay attention to your wife, engage in non-sexual touching with your wife, and make an effort to lead spiritually. Take an action step, simple things to build these habits, and they will transform your marriage and you won't regret it. If you enjoyed this video, please comment down below. Let us know some of these things that you already do for your marriage and the benefits that you're reaping because of it, or some action steps that you plan to take based on what you learned. As always, you can subscribe and hit the bell to make sure that you get notified when we do new videos over here at the Awesome Marriage YouTube channel.